Netflix just dropped another little tease featuring its big 3 series, Stranger Things, Squid Game, and Wednesday. But what really caught my attention was Squid Game, because I spotted a few interesting details I'd been curious about. And now, it's time to break down what I discovered in this brief video. Now, since the new clip reuses some scenes we've already seen, I'll just focus on analyzing the new ones. First, we see the players walking up the stairs. Intercut with this, we get a shot of Inho, the frontman, in his room, speaking on the phone. We hear him say, "Kill them all." Now, what does this mean? Some fans are speculating that the frontman is ordering the murder of certain players, guards, or even the VIPs. Sounds wild, right? But that's what I've seen a lot of people talking about. However, there's one key detail we need to remember. Throughout the show, the frontman never uses a telephone to communicate with guards or anyone inside the facility. For internal orders, he always uses a walkie-talkie or radio. The telephone is reserved for important matters related to the outside, like speaking with the VIPs or coordinating their arrival. So who exactly is he ordering to be killed? Well, here's my prediction. I think he's learned about his brother Junho and his team at sea. We know Junho has been working covertly to infiltrate the games and expose the truth, staying completely under the radar. Up to this point, Inho's actions haven't indicated that he knows Junho is alive, as they haven't crossed paths in a way that would confirm this. But in Season 2, we also learned that the captain of the ship transporting Junho and his team is a traitor. The captain has been sabotaging the mission from within, and even murdered one of Junho's crew members. When Season 3 picks up, I expect Junho will discover that one of his men is missing and will soon realize the captain is the traitor. Now here's the key part. As we saw earlier, the captain was behaving very suspiciously. It's possible that he secretly contacted the Squid Game facility and informed them about Junho's infiltration attempt. Since the captain alone couldn't take out the entire squad, I suspect the frontman ordered a backup team of armed soldiers to intercept the ship, with a direct order to kill everyone on board. For now, this is still a theory, but it's a pretty plausible one. We've already seen images and scenes in the trailer showing Junho advancing alone without his crew. It would make perfect sense if the others were killed during the ambush. Once again, we get a scene of Gyumja crying, but this time it's crystal clear. She opens her mouth wide in anguish, which makes the moment feel incredibly raw and emotional. There's no more doubt now. Her son has died. That's the only thing that could drive her to cry this bitterly. Another key moment is the extended scene of Gi-hun walking into the frontman's room, just like I mentioned in my most recent video. But now, we actually hear his voice saying, "I will stop this game once and for all." Now it's even more clear because we see a wide shot of the frontman sitting waiting for Gi-hun. Gi-hun is aware that his friend Inho, aka player 001, died during the Season 2 tragic event. However, once Gi-hun emerges victorious in the games, he will be brought into a room for a dialogue with the frontman. There, the frontman will take off his mask and question Gi-hun about whether he still has faith in others after witnessing this betrayal and the additional betrayals he is bound to encounter in the upcoming games. I don't know if you've noticed this, but this setup is very intentional and visually communicates a clear power dynamic. The frontman is already seated, relaxed in a large padded armchair. This symbolizes control and dominance. This empty wooden traditional dining chair, placed at a distance across the table, is prepared for Gi-hun to walk toward it and consciously choose to sit down. This walk itself becomes an act of submission, or at least acknowledgement of the frontman's authority in this space. I can only imagine that in this scene, Gi-hun will be visually and physically lower and more exposed when he sits in it, compared to the frontman, who remains enveloped and elevated in his chair. But let's talk about the scene that really got on my nerves. In it, we see a pink jumpsuited guard and a black jumpsuited individual locked in a heated confrontation on top of what looks like an elevator. Now, the pink guard's mask shows a partial triangle tip, so this is clearly Kang No-yul. That means the black jumpsuited figure can only be the high-ranking masked officer, the very one who recruited No-yul into the games. As we know from No-yul's backstory, this officer exploited her desperation to find her daughter, pulling her deeper into the brutal system of the games. In Season 2, we also learn that this officer is heavily involved in the organ harvesting scheme, something No-yul is strictly against. In fact, she was summoned and confronted by this officer after trying to sabotage the scheme. From the trailer, it's clear that No-yul isn't backing down. There's a shot of her in an extremely vulnerable position while this same officer appears to interrogate her. And remember this image I interpreted in my previous video? I said No would strike a rescue deal with player 246. I believe this player will be carried into the operating room alive, hidden inside a coffin meant for organ harvesting. No will then likely sneak into the room and take out everyone involved to save the player. Now, since the masked officer already tried to warn her before, this time he'll be forced to take more drastic action. But here's the key. He cannot risk the frontman finding out about his side operations. And honestly, I believe No will come out on top because this officer is a weak character beneath all that perceived authority. I still don't buy that he'll even have the nerve to initiate the attack against her. In the trailer, we also see No sneaking into a room with striking geometric wall designs, clearly not the same as the frontman's quarters. That's the masked officer's domain, and No is already in there, which means that's where the showdown begins, and this fight is going to be terrifying, you can already tell. They fired more than 5 shots into the air while struggling for control of the gun, all while balancing on this elevated platform. That's all for now. But remember, I still have a full video coming up about the fate of all the main characters in Season 3. So if you'd like to watch it, make sure to subscribe and turn on all notifications so you don't miss it. For now, have a great time.